In this video, we're going to talk about the appearance of your site. I'll go to Appearance over on the left column here, and you'll see that starting in WordPress 3.0, there is a new default theme. This theme is very powerful. There's a lot of things you can do with this theme that you weren't able to do before. And you'll be able to do this on any theme that has been optimized for WordPress 3. Now let's look at some examples of some things you can do. First of all, you can set your background right from here. You don't have to go and edit any CSS to do this. You can choose a background image here and just upload it right from here. Or you can change the color of the background. Let's go look at the site for a second. Notice that the background is all white. Well, what if we wanted to change it to a different color? We can click Select Color here, and then we can go into the color wheel and find out. Just click on one. It brings up the color code here and shows us what the color is up at the top there. Okay, so you can change the color quite easily just by doing something like that. Okay, once you're happy with that, if you save the changes, now if we go up and have a look again, you'll see that our background has now been changed to the color we just picked. Okay, so now to set it back, all you got to do is empty it out, save the changes, and now when we go back, it's just the way it was before. Background image works the same way. Just browse your computer for an image you want to use. Say wildflowers. Now click Upload. It takes a minute for it to upload it. Okay, it previews the image here. And down here, you can choose the settings you want. So you can position it left, center, or right. You can repeat it. So right now it's on tile. That's why we see them like that. We could also do no repeat like that. And then that will be the entire background. Tile horizontally. Just do it this way. Tile vertically. Just does it that way. Okay. And then down here, whether you want it to scroll or fixed. Okay, then once we have that the way we want it, save the changes. Now let's visit our site. Okay, and there our background is behind there the way we set it. Okay, let's go back here. Now another thing we can do is set our own header. Now this is the default header, and there are a number of them that you can choose from down here. But you can also upload your own header. If you make it 940 by 180 pixels or 198 pixels, it will use it as is. But you can upload any image on your computer of any size, and you can crop it right in the window. Let me show you here. Let's bring up a picture of the mountains here that I have. Okay, we'll upload. Okay, and there's the entire picture. Now, we can pick it, because it's too big, we can pick the area here. Okay, so just get the part of the picture that you want in here. And of course, you can move this window around, say you only wanted part of this. You can pick it like that, okay? So anyway, I'm just going to center what I want here, and we'll crop and publish. Okay, there's what our header image looks like. Now we visit the site. There is our new header showing with our new background on here. So this is really powerful if you have a custom header built. It's as simple as that to get it into your WordPress site. Another neat thing that happened in WordPress 3 was something called child themes. What this allows you to do is create a child theme to the current theme, and then what you can do is modify the child theme without actually touching the code in the current theme. That way, if a change is made to the current theme when you do an update, your changes are saved in the child theme. So it's a good way to make some changes without having to worry if they're going to get overwritten at a later time when you do an update. Now to do this, what you have to do is you have to create a child theme in the WP Content Themes directory. Okay, so let's open up FileZilla. And on this side we need to go to WP Content. Themes. Now just while we're here, if you had an error before when you tried to upload your theme, it's because this uploads directory did not exist. So what you do is, let me just rename this for a second. So if you got an error that said it couldn't upload your header image or whatever, what you do is you create a directory and just call it uploads. And then right click here and do file attributes and make it 777. Like that. And then try your upload again and it will work. Okay, I've already got an uploads folder there, but sometimes it doesn't get created. So if that happens, that's all you need to do is create an uploads directory. Okay, back to the task at hand. Now we went to WP Content. Let's go to Themes. And you'll see here we have 2010. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to create a child theme. So we right click here and we give it the same name at the beginning, so we'll call it 2010-child. Like that. Okay, now what we need to do is create a file that goes inside here. So to do that, I've given you a template. If you open that up. Okay, so here it is, and all it has in it is this. It has the theme name, so name of the theme for the child, and name of the main theme goes here. So that has to be in the header at the top of the CSS that goes in there. The CSS is a cascading style sheet. Now, let's go back to FileZilla. And if you go to your computer over here, this is the WordPress stuff that we unzipped. Now if we go into WP Content Themes and we go into 2010, you'll see that we have, roll down, we have a style.css. So what we need to do is we can modify this and then put it inside 2010 child. Okay, so what we can do is just edit this. So let's just do it with Notepad. Let's go to our directory here. And WP Content Themes. There's our main template and style.css over here. So let's just open with, and we'll just open it with, I better open it with WordPad. It's a little hard to see there. So we'll open it with WordPad. Okay, now what we're going to do is replace this top stuff up here. Just get rid of all that. And then we're going to paste in from our template that I gave you this part. Okay, paste that on top. Okay, now the template is the name of the theme that was there before. Okay, so in this case it was 2010. And up here, just call it whatever the name of the theme was before. We'll call it 2010 child. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Now, what we'll do is we'll do a save as here, and we'll just call it style2.css so we don't overwrite our old one. Okay, and then what we can do is refresh here, and let's upload style2.css into 2010 child. Okay, now let's just rename it back to style again. Okay, now what we can do is we can change the style sheet within here, and any changes we make will show up on our site. Okay, now if we go back here, let's refresh. Down here we have 2010 child. Let's do a preview. Okay, you notice that it looks the same. So let's activate it. And now when we go to our site, there it is. Okay. Now you'll notice that it didn't keep our header and so on. So that's because we actually changed the theme. So if we're going to use a child theme, you need to do the steps we did before first, as far as setting your header and your background. Okay, so what we can do now is we can make any changes we want to the style sheet. So if you know what you're doing here, for instance, if we wanted to change the H1, H2, H5, H6 attributes, is the font weight, we can do that here. Okay, so you do need to know CSS in order to be able to, of course, change your cascading style sheets. Okay, so for instance, if we want to change the site title here, what we can do, for instance, the color is 000 right now, which means black. What we could do is put a new color code in there. So you can go to a site like this that has the HTML color codes, and you can either pick a color here, you can pick a color down here, and you can get the color code for that. So let's say we wanted to make it this color. What we could do is just copy this now, and then we put the color code in here. Okay, and then we can save this, and then we can re-upload it. Okay, so let's go back here. We'll upload style 2 again. Delete the old style. And rename this back to style again. We only have to do this because we're trying not to overwrite our original style sheet there. Okay, now if we come back here and we refresh, you'll see here that it has replaced our WordPress on video from black to the red color that we just picked. Okay, so that's how you can modify your CSS without ever having to touch the original theme. That way, if something changed during update, you don't lose the changes you made to the cascading style sheet. Now, that's a very basic use of the child theme. Now, other things you can do, if we go to the editor, you notice that we have all the other pages over here that it brought in from the parent theme. But you can also, for instance, if we look at the single post here, okay, this is the template for the single post. We could also change that if we want. We could do the exact same thing by loading single up in here and uploading it to our child theme, and we could modify the single PHP file if we wanted to. So we could make it different. Same with anything else in here. You could upload, for instance, the footer.php, and you could change that. Okay, so you don't have to just do the style. That is the minimum required to have inside here because you need the header. But you can upload any of these other things in here as well. Okay, so that is a summary of how you can use child themes to protect your work. Now let's go over the advanced functions. We also have menus, and we're going to go over these a little later after we get some content on our site. Now the old function still is here, or I shouldn't say old function, but the regular function to install a different theme is here as well. Nobody says you have to use the default theme. You can go ahead and you can find a theme you like by doing a search through the theme database here. So you put in your term, for instance, and you can do a search. And then you can find one here you like and install that if you want to do it that way. Okay, this is functionality that we had before, but you can preview it here. Okay, and then if you like it, you can install it. Okay, so let's say we want to install it. So you click install. Click install now. Okay, and then you have to put your FTP information in here, which is the same as what you put in FileZilla. So your host name is your domain, and then your username and password for your cPanel or for an FTP account you created, and then click proceed and it'll upload that theme for you. Okay, so we'll click proceed here. It's installing the theme for us now. Okay, so here it is. It's all uploaded. We can activate it now. And now when we go to our theme, have a look at our site, there it is with our new theme. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about widgets and menus after we add some content. We're going to do that in the next video.